Hey everybody. So, today is the day I'm going to take the clamp off of my repair that I've done on the headstock. It's currently Friday, October 22nd. It's been since Sunday, so it's been about 96 hours at least. So some of you didn't see in the other videos, this guitar I bought from Guitar Center. And everything looked great when I checked it over until I spun it around and moved up to the headstock and realized it was split right here. I brought it right back to Guitar Center that night, got my refund, and then I just kind of dwelled on it for a few weeks. And I thought, well, maybe it's just the clear coat. So I went back on tax-free weekend, middle of August. We have that in Massachusetts. And they took it out of the back. And I rocked the headstock, and it was, in fact, the headstock and not the finish. They offered to give me a big discount on top of being tax-free, and I figured, well, I could fix this. So I've attempted to fix this. I've stripped most of the finish off the whole area where the crack is, because I don't plan on finishing this with the green. I'm just going to go with the regular gloss over the headstock. So what I did use was the Type Bond original wood glue. It's different than the Type Bond 2 or Type Bond 3. This is actually made for this kind of work. And since the crack was fairly unique, it wasn't split through, but it was probably like half the depth of the headstock and fairly shallow. So I did need to use a glue syringe like this from Stu Mac, and I had to make some bevels on the needle so when I pry back the headstock I can get in there and angle the needle around different ways and push the glue in. And as I was doing that, I had to rock the headstock back and forth, hold the guitar upside down, all this crazy stuff to get the glue as deep as I could and cover as much surface area as I could inside. So it holds like 10 cc's of glue. Didn't need that much, but I just kept filling it and then let the excess come out and just kept filling it. So now we will finally take the clamp off. It's been sitting on here, and this is wax paper. I thought it would be able to resist the glue, but this glue is just so damn good that even the wax paper stuck to it. So oh, this is the moment I've been waiting for. So let's see what happens. Alright. So take some of this off. Okay. Good. Now it did go from here, and it travels a little bit down here where it kind of stops at the binding. Sorry, it's a little fuzzy. The camera's trying to adjust. There it is. Right down by the binding. Okay. Well, let's give it a shot. Alright, so I am now lifting this guitar. This is going to be the most leverage. I'm having the shortest amount. And it is holding up. So I think that was a success. I guess gotta do some work. I'm gonna fill this in with a little bit more sawdust, some glue, and sand it to blend in before I go over this with a few coats of like true oil and then buff it out. But pretty pleased with how it worked out. I think it's definitely going to be stronger than the wood that was there. When it's all said and done, I'm going to have a groove gear fret wrap, which will cover most of this anyways. The tuner will be here, so maybe this little spot's all that's going to be visible. I'm going to also like put some wood right in the gap right there. The wenge is a little browner. if you can see that from there. Okay, I'm going to have to fill that in with a little wing gains, use some little, like a furniture marker, and do something to make it look like the grain. So that's that. That's pretty cool. It was holding up. I mean, when I was tightening the tuners, it wasn't splitting open anyways, but I didn't want to chance it. But me just lifting this guitar, and it's holding up. That's great. I feel confident. I think that's going to hold up for years or decades to come. The other thing I've done, since I got bored of waiting, I've stripped the rest of the guitar down. I took out the Floyd Rose, which I'll show you all. Let's see. There it is. So this guitar is pretty cool. The Z6 has a German-made Floyd Rose. It's made in Germany with a 32mm Floyd Rose brass block. I'm going to actually modify this bridge a little bit. I'm going to use those Floyd Rose hollow points right here so I can adjust the intonation. These screws are actually brass under this powder coat, so I'm not sure I'm keeping black or going to go with powder coat. But as you can see, like, this saddle definitely needs to be adjusted back for the intonation. We have that. I might look into getting the Schaller Sure Claw. It's a solid brass unit that goes right here, replaces this claw, and instead of having the screws being pulled with tension this way, the Sure Claw is mounted into the body this way, so it's a stronger connection, and it's complete solid brass. I might even use like one of the tremendous things and maybe a block for it. And then I also ordered and received a Pure Tone jack, which I use on all my guitars. This is the jack that came on the guitar. Yeah, it's a little rusted and crusty looking here, so that can definitely be upgraded. I might do a video of me soldering that, but the Pure Tones are just pretty cool. And this is the inside of the guitar. Unlike the other B-Series, the volume is not a push-pull, but the tone is the push-pull, which was a little confusing at first because I was pulling on the volume. So that one is the coil split for the Z6. Unlike all the other B-Series in the Prophecy and line and the Legacy line, it's the tone, not the volume. But there's enough slack in here to kind of do this. I mean, if this push-pull pot was not here, I'd probably normally would just feed the jack out through this hole and then do the soldering work here. But I'll give myself a little lead, do the work right there. But that's it. Yeah, I'm going to do some things on this. Also got a little bit of scuff marks on the neck here when I painted, I taped this off. I went a little crazy sanding. So that shouldn't take much. It's going to be a really fine sandpaper, so this feels all satin. This will be satin, and this is going to be gloss. Just clear gloss, and right down to the binding. Alright, so that's good news. I can't believe it. It's awesome. It worked. So if any of you guys need to repair anything, this is the stuff. And if it's a really tight glue joint, the StewMac glue syringe kit is well worth it. It was probably $2.50 for this glue. I think this was like $14, and I used some like cheap Dollar Tree sandpaper. So total, there's probably like $20 to fix this guitar. Guitar Center said it would be like $400 to do the job. So I think I made out alright for $20. Alright, so that's all for today, peeps.